advocational training in conjunction with this channel.
Hey, you! Yeah, you! I want you to understand something. Your children's education is very important. Don't pay no mind to this COVID-19 pandemic. Your children still gotta have their education. You hear me? The Ministry of Education still got their virtual school going on, you know. The reason I'm talking to you about this is because more than 8,000 Bahamian children ain't never log on to classes from March 2020. That's a long time for children to be without their education, you know. The mind is a terrible thing to waste. Now, the ministry needs you to ensure that your children log on and stay on. You know, plenty other children getting their education, you know. They logging on and they staying on. Where your children is? What happened to them? You need help? Call the school. Call the teacher. They just waiting to help you. So make sure the child register, they log on and stay on. And check on them every so often, man. And make sure they ain't skylocking or sleeping. And one more thing, just make sure you ain't up and down past them children in your morning clothes with your cocktail. You see, they gotta log on for attendance and in order to do their school work so that they could graduate with the Bahamas National High School Diploma. Our Bahamas need every child to live up to their potential. And parents, it starts with you.
This public service announcement was brought to you by the Communications section of the Ministry of Education and Technical and Vocational Training in conjunction with this channel.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Coming up in the news, our ZNS News team taking a closer look at the discovery of skeletal remains recovered in a body bag. Plus, a man found dead in a prison cell and his loved ones seeking answers. Also, what caused Hurricane Dorian? A town hall meeting focusing on climate change currently underway. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Simone Davis. Topping news tonight, a startling discovery of skeletal remains in a body bag has turned into a criminal investigation by police. This past weekend, police were called to an area in East Grand Bahama where human remains were discovered in a white body bag by persons clearing down bushes. Our ZNS News team dug a little deeper to investigate the circumstances surrounding the placement of the remains. Our Ramiko Knowles joins us live in studio with the latest. Ramiko?
That's right, Simone. The skeletal remains discovered on the eastern end of the island was an odd discovery that prompted an investigation by police and sparked an even greater debate among residents. Many questioning who could have placed the human skeleton in a body bag, then dump it in a remote area in East Grand Bahama. Well-placed sources told our ZNS News team that a funeral director, who we now know is unlicensed, was allegedly paid to cremate the deceased person, but that did not happen. There are only 2 funeral homes in Grand Bahama that offer crematorium services: Yeager Cedar Crest Funeral Home and Crematorium, and the Rescue Memorial Mortuary. The funeral director at Yeager Funeral Home, Jamal McSweeney, says it is an unfortunate situation and he cannot believe that someone would commit such a heinous act.
If a family has someone that has passed away, they should first of all want to choose a funeral home that's reputable. When I'm saying reputable, they have a building that's pretty much been established. There's an office that you can come to and make some arrangements. So what you're paying for, basically, you should receive.
But those left to handle the remains of their loved one did not get the service they requested. Sources tell our news team that the toe tag was still on the decomposed body when it was discovered. McSweeney notes that there are some cases when a funeral home would outsource the crematory service to those who can render it.
You would have to bring some documents in. You would receive a cremation request, and you would receive some authentic ashes and the ashes of your loved one. So even if you come to a funeral home and you want to see the remains of your loved one interred into the crematorium, that could happen.
But there was a bigger issue at hand, according to President of Rescue Memorial Mortuary, Keith McSweeney. He says the Mortuary Association has been attempting to get the industry regulated for some time now to avoid persons who are not qualified from conducting such services without proper licensing.
Well, I call them so-called funeral directors. No, nothing. No license, no funeral home, no facilities, no nothing. And you taking people's loved one. What is more serious is these guys signing on people's death certificate. A death certificate is a legal document. So you go over there saying you're a mortician, and you take a person's medical certificate that you get from the hospital and go to the registrar. And you file that and sign on that. That's fraud.
The question now is how many other families have received ashes that are said to be the remains of their loved ones, but are not. Yeager Family Director is making this appeal to those looking to cremate their loved one.
Any funeral that you go to, according to what you want to happen for your loved one or what you're choosing, I'm sure they can facilitate your needs and costs and so forth. And even if you want to go and look at another funeral to find out, but make sure it's a place that has a physical address and reputable. So it's two ways. You let someone come and talk to you and say they're a funeral director. Where are their credentials? Where did they study? What makes them a funeral director? Those are questions that you ask yourself. Where are you located? And then you proceed from there.
Now, Simone, we understand that a Grand Bahama man is assisting police with this investigation, but police have remained tight-lipped on this case as it is a very sensitive matter. This is a story that our ZNS Northern Service team will continue to follow. Live in studio, I'm Ramiko Knowles. Back to you on the desk.
Thanks, Ramiko. And of course, we just want to say once again, the funeral homes that we spoke with are not connected in any way to this incident. Well, a man found unresponsive in a cell at the Bahamas Department of Corrections in the nation's capital and later dying as a result of his injuries has been identified as 51-year-old Kenny Cooper of Mayfield Park, Freeport. Tonight, his family is releasing a statement demanding answers on the circumstances surrounding his death. Our Aja Quant has the latest in this report.
What happened to Kenny Cooper? That is the question family members say they need answers to. In a letter to the editor, the family of a man who died at the Bahamas Corrections Department say that they are seeking detailed information as to what happened to their loved one. Now, on October 11th, police reports indicate that correction officers discovered the unconscious body of a 51-year-old inmate while making routine checks. No details surrounding exactly what happened. The family releasing a statement on the incident that they are pained, saddened, and remain in disbelief. That statement alleging that on Monday, October 10th, a fight ensued in the Remand Center C block where Kenny's cell was located. They claim that Kenny was beaten to death by two inmates. Now, the family also alleging that correction officers clocking in that following morning found Kenny's body, transported it to the Princess Margaret Hospital, where he was placed on life support until he died. Kenny Cooper was well known in the Grand Bahama community, particularly Mayfield Park, and was diagnosed as a mental patient following 2 brain surgeries. Although he was arrested for car theft, that resulted in him being sent to the Bahamas Department of Corrections. They believe that he should have been placed in Sandilands Rehabilitation, even though the center was unable to accommodate him due to an influx of patients at that time. Kenny was then remanded to Fox Hill Prison. Meanwhile, family members say they were able to speak with acting commissioner of the correctional facility, who explained that because of the influx at Sandilands, patients like Kenny are placed in a designated designated cell block. Our ZNS News team reached out to Superintendent Chrislyn Skippings, who confirms that Kenny was found unresponsive in his cell block.
What I can say to you is that the matter is still actively being investigated by our department, and where our investigation leads us in the direction where persons will be or should be held accountable for their actions, then the law will take its full course in regards to it.
Now, the family says it took weeks to receive a response from the Department of Corrections, and now that they were able to obtain some information and condolences from the Acting Commissioner of Corrections. They closed the statement by assuring the public that this is not the last you will hear from them, as they will continue seeking justice for Kenny and advocate on behalf of other mentally incapacitated persons in prison. Now, our ZNS News team reached out to the Department of Correction, who declined to give an interview. We understand that investigations are continuing into this matter. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Azra Quant.
Our ZNS News team also reaching out to the Minister of National Security, the Honorable Wayne Monroe, on this matter in response to the family's claim that as a mental patient, Cooper should not have been placed in the Bahamas Department of Corrections. However, the minister says since taking office, Sandilands was not admitting anyone from the courts. He says he is aware that Kenny Cooper is mentally challenged and was found in the cell unresponsive.
Persons had to be evaluated for the court. The courts were remanding them to B-Docs because initially the warrant would say Sandilands, and when Sandilands refuses to take them, the warrant would then be changed to B-Docs. And Sandilands would send its mental health staff over, and they would assess persons at B-Docs. I'm aware that Mr. Kingsley Cooper was said to have mental challenges, and he was on remand in the remand block, and he was found unresponsive in a locked cell with 2 other inmates. I think he passed yesterday morning, and the police, of course, now investigating the matter as a homicide.
Minister Monroe noting that they do have a challenge with mentally ill persons, and they are seeking to address that issue.
We're seeking to get approval to bring on staff, psychiatrists to be stationed at the correctional institution rather than having to rely on Sandilands sending psychiatrists on rounds. And we're seeking to make some other changes to improve the facility for persons who are mentally challenged.
In other news, a woman is dead tonight following a traffic accident on East Sunrise Highway and Sergeant Major Road last evening. The victim believed to be a young mother whose son was also in the vehicle. Our Ramiko Knowles was on the scene of the accident and filed this report.
Skid marks, shattered glass, and a grain slipper remain on the scene of Grand Bahama's latest traffic fatality. According to police reports, it was shortly after 5:20 p.m. on Tuesday, October 25th, 2022, when the police control room received a report of a traffic accident in the area of East Sunrise Highway and Sergeant Major Road. Police say they responded and met the lifeless body of a female inside a gray-colored vehicle. The victim is unofficially identified as 25-year-old Talia Tamar. Police say she was traveling east along East Sunrise Highway when she lost control of her vehicle and crashed into a tree in the center median.
EMS were summoned. They found no signs of life. However, the female driver was accompanied by a young male adult who was taken to the Ron Memorial Hospital. This is our preliminary investigations thus far.
Bridget Stubbs and Edrica Martinborough were also traveling east at the time of the fatal crash. Stubbs was at the front of the vehicle and Martinborough at the rear. They witnessed the entire ordeal.
I just heard a loud screech and I knew someone was about to hit me at the back. I braced myself because I was looking for a rear impact. You know, and I think had she had done that, I would have been better off hitting the back of my car. And us two just probably having whiplash, being observed at the hospital than for this to happen.
My father and I, we came out of the vehicle and tried to render assistance any way that we could. He and another gentleman immediately went and disconnected the battery of the vehicle.
Although shaken up, they, along with others, quickly sprang into action to offer assistance. That is when they noticed a male toddler in the back seat of the vehicle.
He had came out of his booster chair upon impact, and he had hit his head. So he did receive some injuries upon hitting the tree, but eventually he began to come to.
Off-duty police officer, she stopped and helped rendering assistance. So the police officer, she tried to assist the baby in getting it out of the vehicle. And I went into my vehicle and took my back mats out to lay the baby on and sat on the ground with the baby until the ambulance came.
At the scene of the fatality, police and fire officials spent quite some time prying one of the doors open to retrieve the body of the female occupant. The hearse then arrived on the scene to collect the body. A CT scan was performed on the toddler, who was transported to the Rand Memorial Hospital, and officials say that he is okay.
We continue to sensitize the motoring public to obey or adhere to the speed signs, the traffic signs, more so the speed zones during the day and nighttime.
The latest traffic fatality becomes Grand Bahama's third for the year. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Ramiko Knowles.
Thanks, Ramiko. Switching gears now, the Ministry of Health and Wellness listening to residents and also testing their knowledge on the issue that is climate change. The ministry hosting a town hall meeting in 8 Mile Rock to give residents an opportunity to take their ongoing knowledge, attitude, and practice survey, while also informing them on how the country at large is being impacted. Shane Stubbs reports.
Climate change has certainly become a hot-button topic in recent times. Just about 30 residents gathered at Mount Zion Baptist Church in Jonestown, 8 Mile Rock last evening for the Ministry of Health and Wellness's town hall meeting on how climate change is affecting the country. With Hurricane Dorian being a major climate experience, the ministry has been conducting a survey on climate change since October 3rd to see how knowledgeable Bahamians are about the issue. Senior Medical Officer and Medical Focal Point Dr. Khalid Philippe explaining why this survey is so important.
This climate change survey is very important because it will help us to understand where people are with their knowledge, their attitude, and their practice. We will then be able to develop a national education and training program that we can budget, because then we would be able to say, well, 50% of the Bahamian people or 50% of Grand Bahamians understand about climate change, because the survey is also a teaching tool. So they'll learn the connection between climate change and health. They'll learn some of the practices that they should be doing, and they will start to think, I can make a difference in addressing climate change, and we want people to walk away with that. This is just the beginning, because the survey is for us to gather knowledge. We are going to the Conference of Parties in Egypt with the Prime Minister, and this information will be used as part of what we talk about in terms of the Bahamas, and we need people to tell us. We need the data. We don't know, but only you can help us to do that.
Philippe also reveals that the survey is set to enlighten Bahamians more on mitigation and adaptation.
It talks about greening your house, changing your lights to LED, reducing the amount of water that you use, changing the way you eat in terms of your food pattern, eating more vegetables, fruits and vegetables, less, meat. It also means how you distribute your waste. We don't have recycling in the Bahamas, and that's very important. And then adaptation, recognizing that we will see more hurricanes. Are you prepared? Do you have enough water in your house? Are your documents in a Ziploc bag in case you have to leave your house? Do you have a suitcase ready and packed if you have to go to a shelter? These are some basic things that, we only think about when a hurricane is coming.
Medical Focal Point Dr. William Hamilton says the only way to win against climate change is to become as educated as possible.
Climate change is something that is present. Climate change is something that's not going anywhere anytime soon. And so we owe it to ourselves, we owe it to this generation and future generations to now empower ourselves. And the way we will empower ourselves is with education. When we go back and look at the data, then we can understand where our gaps, our strengths are, and then we can then tailor a program for a education and communication campaign.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness is expected to continue with the survey for the general public, which can be completed by scanning the QR code provided. Or you can visit the Ministry of Health and Wellness official webpage, click the image, which will lead you to a page to complete the survey. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Shane Stubbs.
And when we come back, we highlight a career fair at Sister Mary Patricia Russell Junior High School as we allowed a few kids to become Northern Service reporters for the day. That story and a whole lot more, including the latest in sports, when the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, returns.
Come on down. Come on down now.
Don't miss the 25% off sale at Park & Shop. 25% off sale this October 27th, 28th, and 29th, excluding underwear and red tag items.
Bahamas says now is the perfect time to do all those updates and repairs, changing your flooring or updating those windows. Now in stock at Conant Bahamas are stylish ceramic plank tiles, shower floor tiles, an array of sizes in porcelain tiles, laminate and vinyl flooring, impact and PVC windows. Conant Bahamas is stocked out with everything you need to enhance your beautiful home, so you enjoy life the way you should. Open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
We just got the new fiber internet speed bump. Now my internet so fast I can watch 2 4K movies, play video games, and browse on my computer at the same time.
Yeah, my internet so fast I could download a whole season of shows before my noodles done cooking.
Mine so fast when I go to church online, service actually over early.
Mine so fast when I'm working from home, 5 o'clock, come before 3.
Sound like you got this BTC fiber internet speed bump like me.
When it's so fast, I had to have it.
Current fiber internet bundle customers now have as much as 3 times the speed. Totally free. Link up with BTC.
Digital bidding for government contracts is now better than ever. All business owners are encouraged to register on the new and improved e-procurement and supplies registry system to access all government contracts. Never miss another opportunity to grow your business. Registration takes just 5 minutes and gives you instant access to notifications of business opportunities and the ability to submit bids to the Bahamas government. Want to learn more? Visit moffvendors.gov.bs and register today.
Harvey's Tech Bargains, where Small Plaza carries electronics, games, consoles, Fire Stick, smart TVs, tablets, laptops, accessories, and much more. Phone 602-7657 or 727-6877.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hey, what's up? Good morning. It's your girl Gigi, and it's the Morning Brew Show, and you're gonna love it. Come on, let's dance right into the afternoon with your favorite mix of Afro beats and Caribbean hits. Join me every morning at 8 a.m. to 12 noon as we talk about the latest hot topics, hot tea, and what's going on in the community. Come on, man, let's dance right on into the afternoon with your favorite hits. It's the Morning Brew Show with your girl Gigi on Power 104.5 FM.
Is everybody back up in the building? It's been a minute, tell me how you're healing. Cause I'm about to get into my feelings. How you feeling? How you feel right now?
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. October is celebrated as Career Month in the Bahamas, and the Sister Mary Patricia Russell Junior High School is recognizing it with a special group of corporate professionals. The school decided to step out of the box with non-traditional careers, and members of our ZNS News team were invited to engage with the students who backed our Ajaquan to the side and took over this story.
Hi, we are at Sister Mary Patricia Russell Junior High School. How
is it like here?
It was a fun-filled day for the students at Sister Mary Patricia Junior High School as they were exposed to non-traditional careers like reporters, an environmental compliance specialist, a marine pilot, a radio personality, educators, accountants, and an executive director.
Today, rather than the regular police, teacher, doctor, lawyer, we decide to go outside. There are more professions out there, especially since COVID, that are practical, hands-on, are in demand. And so we want to give our students that opportunity to start exploring careers. They are in junior high, and so they'll be in senior high and in the real world in a matter of 3 to 6 years. And so this is the time for them to start really putting their perspectives in order as what career choices they want to make.
Not only are the representatives showcasing their work, but they are also representing their various Greek-lettered organizations who are a part of the Divine Nine. Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated, and Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated.
Sororities and fraternities, one part of their mantra is to give back. And so that whilst they work within an organization, they represent the Divine Nine, as well as they're more relatable as well. So this comes under twofold for them. And being a member of the Divine Nine, it was easier to bring it to them and understand the career path that we want to explore for these children.
As the students traversed to the various career tables, some have decided which path they would like to take.
It's definitely ZNS because it's so many different things you can do in this career. It's very interesting.
ZNS. I'd inform the people of Grand Bahama what's going on around us.
For the Bahamas tonight, the Northern Edition, Shiloh Arley.
For the Bahamas tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Azaria Colley.
For the Bahamas tonight, the Northern Edition, my name is Jaden Forbes. Have a blessed day.
Great story, Aja. Thank you. And your check on sports is next with Shane Stubbs.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Shane Stubbs, and welcome to Sports. The Freeport Container Ports Health, Wellness, and Safety Basketball Tournament was certainly a lot of fun. Let's take a look at the highlights. 8 companies suited up for the Freeport Container Port Health, Wellness, and Safety Basketball Tournament, and it certainly lived up to the hype. In the end, the Grand Bahama Port Authority will come away the victors after defeating FCP Northside 33-24 in the championship. Joel Davis was named the MVP. Here's how he and teammate Cleavon Clark felt about the win.
They are the deeper bench, but I feel like if we was hustling, if we keep at it, make our free throws, we got the game.
Everyone come out with what you got, and when we get the lead, we just run the clock. There's no shot clock, and we just come up with the victory.
Both teams entered the second half tied at 12 apiece, but the Port opened things up with a 7-0 run and never looked back. Here's tournament director Trevor Smith on how the tournament played out.
The tournament was good. I mean, we had the tournament years before, but it's the first time we had it like about 4 or 5 years now. But everybody wanted it for us to do it again. Everybody excited about it. Everybody showed up, and we had a good time.
Early on, team administration took down team operations 25-18. Teams that competed in the tournament included Freeport Harbor Company, FCP Southside, GB Power Company, Bahama Rock, Buckeye Bahamas, and yours truly, ZNS. Taking a look at the latest in high school volleyball and junior girls action, the BMES Warriors defeated the Sister Mary Patricia Panthers in 2 sets, 21-10 and 21-8. The 8 Mile Rock Blue Jays rolled to a 2-set victory over the Sunland Stingers, winning both sets 21-10 and 21-8. Continuing in junior girls play, the Tabernacle Falcons LIS Buccaneers 2-1. They would drop the first set 21-18, but rallied to take the final 2 sets 21-16 and 15-11. And in senior girls action, the Buccaneers would handle the Mary Star Crusaders, winning both sets 21-13. And lastly, in the National Basketball Association, Shavano Buddy Hield and the Indiana Pacers suffering their 3rd loss for the season to the Philadelphia 76ers. The Grand Bahama native would finish with 18 points on 42.9% shooting from the field. He also grabbed 6 rebounds and dished out 6 assists on the night. The Pacers will be back on the court against the Chicago Bulls tonight. And ladies and gentlemen, that is a quick update on sports. I'm Shane Stubbs. Be safe and be great.
The race returns. The GBPA Conkman Triathlon, November 5th at Taino Beach. Register now at conkmantriathlon.com. Body by Johnny presents the 2022 Breast Cancer Awareness Run and Walk from the Grand Bahama Sports Complex. October 29th for all ages, starting at 6 a.m.
Ice a coconut got this, cocoa skin dripping madness, juiciness ice the vibe. This sweet like sugar in a dripping like ice honey. Addict, all of my love me. Sweet like sugar in a watch it go ba 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 ba, watch it go ba 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 ba, watch it go ba 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 ba, watch it go ba 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 ba. Sweet like sugar in a
new Culinary platinum flavor, flavored beers with a kick of rum. Make it platinum.
With over 30 years of service with integrity, services in Abaco, New Providence, and Grand Bahama, providing modern and state-of-the-art equipment, specializing in the maintenance and operation of waste treatment plants, waste oil movement, sludge extraction, tank cleaning, elite portable toilets, and hand wash stations. We are efficient, reliable, and cutting edge. We are B&B Galaxy.
Here are some tips for having your home ready for a hurricane. Keep all trees and shrubs trimmed. Bring in all outdoor furniture, plants, or any other items that may become airborne due to high winds. Cover windows and doors with hurricane shutters or pre-cut plywood. Clear drains and gutters. And remember to secure important documentation in case you have to evacuate. Don't be caught off guard this hurricane season. Be prepared.
The King of the North is back. Power 104.5 FM.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Owen Jermaine Darville, you are our Facebook friend of the day, and we are wishing you a very happy birthday. We hope you enjoy, and we thank you so much for your continued support. And that brings us to the end of tonight's newscast. On behalf of the entire ZNS News team, I'm Simone Davis. Be sure to stay tuned as the Bahamas Tonight continues.
Coming up in the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, the Day of Reckoning, the details of PM's Bermuda trip. A grave secret dug up. And in sports, CNS Hitmen, NPSA champs. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, starts now.
News is linked up by BTC. Whether it's chatting, gaming, content creating, or working smart to get things done, link up to stay connected with BTC.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Akush Lapinder, and this is the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Thanks for tuning in. The Prime Minister seeking to set the record straight in the controversy over who paid for the recent trip to Bermuda. The discussion making it to the House of Assembly this morning after continued prodding from the official opposition, whose leader, Michael Pintard, has openly accused the government of commingling government business with that of its party. And this after Director of Communications Latre Ramming told reporters Friday the PLP paid for the trip. Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Honourable Fred Mitchell, called it a standard official trip arranged by the Office of the Prime Minister, adding that once expenses were settled, there was a reckoning between public and private expenses. However, Pintard charges that it breaches the law that the government pay for a political trip to be reimbursed by a political party, going further to question who authorized it and Bill Head's role.
Hoping to put the issue to rest, the Prime Minister told House members Wednesday the initial travel plan called for him staying a night in New York, coming and going. Chartering a flight ran into $150,000. Western Air eventually agreed to take the Prime Minister, a trip that swelled from just the Honourable Philip Davis to the PLP, upon the Bermudian government's invitation. Bermuda's Progressive Labour Party was formed by the Progressive Liberal Party here in the Bahamas.
Once I've decided that the PLP will join me on the trip, right, the arrangements for the charter had been paid for by the government. Right, I then, the day I was leaving, I left instructions with my senior policy advisor, because of the fact that that PLPs were going to be on the flight, to make sure that we will pay for the charter at least, and we make the arrangements. When we get into Bermuda, we will pay for the hotels, and we reckon and reimburse whenever we get all the receipts. And that's what the position was.
Well, the PLP last evening made public its reimbursement payment of $24,750 to the public treasury for the Prime Minister's flight to Bermuda, with the assurance that it will continue to share records of the reconciliation of any additional associated cost and payments.
In fact, I've decided that they will not take care of my whatever I paid, whatever I went for, I will pay for myself. But once we'll do the reckoning, and at the end of the reckoning, you'll see.
Well, also coming out the House of Assembly, the Prime Minister tabled legislation for a new framework to govern the country's assets and investments. The bill also puts the country in the top tier globally of national investment funds. Fern Carey has the details.
In tabling the National Investment Funds Bill in Parliament Wednesday, Prime Minister the Honourable Philip Davis described it as an essential first step in ensuring a comprehensive approach to national investment in the country. Apart from bringing the country in line with global investment standards, the proposed legislation is also expected to boost investor confidence by reorganizing the way the government handles revenue and investment. According to the Prime Minister, the new legislation will also better position the country to capitalize on new investment opportunities.
The National Investment Funds Bill sets up for the first time in our country a clear regulatory framework for such arrangements. We are doing so in line with the recommendations made by the IDB, which advise setting up investment funds and vehicles to deal with national investment revenue and expenditure in a way that is transparent and in line, both from a structuring and governance point of view, with international best practices.
Prime Minister Davis also expects the new framework under the investment bill to bring together different aspects of the government's fiscal operations relating to investments, paving the way for partnerships with the private sector.
Thus, such partnerships can be effectively and efficiently transparently managed in the national interest.
Now, the bill has two primary objectives, the first being to authorize the establishment of national investment funds in order to advance the blue, green, and orange economies in the country.
The second objective is to provide for the effective and transparent management of the natural resources of the Bahamas, along with private investments held by the government of the Bahamas. In order to achieve these objectives, funds created pursuant to this bill are designed to ensure that investments and private shareholdings of the government are managed professionally for the short, medium, and long-term benefit of the citizens of the Bahamas.
Now, should House members give their approval to the investment bill, Prime Minister Davis says the government will immediately provide for the formation of the Bahamas Resilient Fund that will assist with the development and redevelopment of infrastructure in the Family Islands. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Fern Carey.
Also tabled a new national health insurance bill. The proposed legislation seeks to repeal and replace the 2016 legislation which paved the way for the initial universal health care initiative. Health Minister the Honourable Dr. Michael Darville sees it as a necessary move as the current legislation no longer meets the needs of the country's health care system.
This new NHI bill will certainly lay the legal framework for the rollout of a suite of services known as the Standard Health Benefit Package that all NHI beneficiaries will receive, what is available now, and much more. Some of these services include primary health care services, health education and promotion, early detection and preventative care, diagnostic imaging, pediatric and maternity care, and of course, screening programs for cancers and other specific conditions, particularly in their early stages.
The health minister says the legislation will also lay the foundation for catastrophic health coverage in the country.
Catastrophic care is a priority for this administration, and this piece of legislation will prove to be the critical step necessary for the expansion of primary health care benefits, along with robust health wellness programs across our country as we push towards universal health coverage.
The European Union has been challenged to change its attitude on tax competition. Foreign Affairs Minister the Honourable Fred Mitchell demanding as much during his address to the 39th Conference of the Economic Commission on Latin America and the Caribbean in Buenos Aires, Argentina. At the time, he expressed concern over what he called the asymmetry between CARICOM countries and the European Union regarding their view on international tax matters. His comments coming on the heels of the EU's recent decision to blacklist the Bahamas.
What they're saying is that these societies, the Caribbean societies that are engaged in this tax competition, are robbing the European countries of revenue, when the evidence is in fact just the opposite. First of all, the taxes that are being lost and the money laundering and the allegations that there's evasion. We know that in developed countries that much more money passes through those systems than can ever pass through the systems in the CARICOM countries. So that's the first thing. Secondly, the evidence is that people park their money in our societies, but the money goes right back when it's cashed in to the developed societies. As a result of changing these, people in the Bahamas who had good incomes as a result of this tax competition, which is what I choose to call it, have now lost those incomes and are now scrapping for jobs in our countries in a place where they had comfortable middle-class incomes.
The minister also spoke to the ongoing concern over Haiti's instability and humanitarian needs. As reported, the Bahamas and CARICOM have decided to work towards some kind of resolution.
I understand that there is a resolution which is potentially to be crafted and go through the United Nations Security Council shortly to be able to provide that support. And I hope that every country here in this room will support those efforts at the United Nations Security Council to support trying to do what we can to restore order and progress in the Haitian Republic.
Well, Prime Minister the Honourable Philip Davis, KC, congratulating Rishi Sunak on becoming the new Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Prime Minister Davis says he looks forward to working closely with the UK on matters of mutual interest between the two countries, especially on the issue of climate change. Mr. Sunak on Tuesday became the country's third Prime Minister in 2 months. He succeeds former British Prime Minister Liz Truss, who quit after just 44 days in office. Well, as the Bahamas enters its 50th year of independence, economic development remains a critical component of the country's resilience. In fact, the Economic Affairs Minister has noted that as the global environment continues to evolve, so has the country's economic engine. And this, the very foundation of his presentation at last night's lecture series on fiscal policy at the University of the Bahamas. We hear more from our Lloyd Allen.
What we have achieved as a nation over this short period of time is nothing short of remarkable.
Halkitis, during his presentation at UB's lecture series, Meet the Policymakers, pitting a somewhat stable landscape of the Bahamian economy as recovery continues post the COVID pandemic.
The dominance of the tourism industry, being the largest contributor to GDP and employing the largest share of people. Financial services, particularly offshore financial services, being the second largest contributor to GDP. The reliance on imports for domestic consumption, as well as providing many of the items consumed by our visitors, and government's historic reliance on forms of indirect taxation.
Halkitis noting that while the country has weathered the impact of COVID, concerns remain.
We have seen our deficit as a percentage of GDP go from 1.6% in 2018-2019, 7.1% in 2019-2020, 13.7% in 2020-2021, 5.4% in 2021-2022 as we begin to recover.
With a projected deficit of $564 million in the current budgetary year, Halkitis adds a future downward trend relative to government debt to GDP is expected to drop to 50% by 2024-2025. Now, because of this, he says the country has remained competitive in international credit markets and multilateral financial institutions, supporting employment in the private and public sector throughout the past few years. Moving forward, he argues stability and development lies in diversification and savvy expansionary fiscal policy.
We believe that the answer in the case of the Bahamas is found in a combination of tax measures designed to promote growth in the area of construction, particularly residential construction, incentives to invest in renewables, including making electric vehicles more affordable, measures to lower the price of food. Added to this is a commitment to increase and maintain capital expenditure at a level of around 3.5% of GDP as an added support to the economy.
With additional amendments to the Public Finance Management Act, Halkitis says the government's recipe is double-pronged.
Taxation and revenue measures to foster an environment that supports economic growth, that is inclusive and supports development.
Halkitis reasons that while changes are inevitable, a systematic approach to management of government finances will prove a viable avenue for the Bahamas to secure its future economic growth. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Lloyd Allen.
Hi, this is Chief Meteorologist Basil Dane with a tropical weather update brought to you by BTC and CBS Bahamas. We're watching two areas, and both of them occurring along this trough of low pressure. If you look very closely, the first one, you can start to see some cyclogenesis taking place there, and we're giving this one about a 50% chance of becoming a subtropical depression within the next couple of days, and then it is expected to move towards the north. And then right here in the Caribbean Sea, in the eastern Caribbean Sea, again along that trough, by the weekend, we anticipate another area of low pressure developing there. That one has a 40% chance of developing, and once that happens, it will move towards the west, no problem for us here in the Bahamas. But elsewhere in the tropics, tropical cyclone development is not anticipated over the next 5 days. This has been the Tropical Weather Update brought to you by BTC and CBS Bahamas.
You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. There's more to come.
Portion of the news was brought to you by Sun Oil Limited Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
You have enough things to worry about. Living in a world that can seem opposite of the things you are trying to accomplish.
I can need a little help with this.
We're here to let you know that you don't have to go at it alone. Choose peace of mind. Choose comfort. Choose CB. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
We just got the new fiber internet speed bump. Now my internet's so fast I can watch 2 4K movies, play video games, and browse on my computer at the same time.
Yeah, my internet's so fast I can download a whole season of shows before my noodles run cooking.
Mine's so fast when I go to church online, service actually over early.
Mine's so fast when I'm working from home, 5 o'clock, come before 3.
Sound like you got this BTC fiber internet speed bump like me.
But it's so fast, I had to have it.
Current fiber internet bundle customers now have as much as 3 times the speed. Totally free. Link up with BTC.
What makes us experts? Every bite. And while it's impossible to know how many there have been in KFC's history, each one of them is crucial. Because our secret travels from mouth to mouth. And we know that the first bite will never be the last. Kentucky Deluxe Chicken Sandwich, a triple breaded chicken breast, premium mayo, pickles, lettuce, tomato, and cheese on a buttery brioche bun. All our chicken expertise in a sandwich. Kentucky Deluxe Chicken Sandwich, only at KFC Nassau.
I used to think of the bank as my personal ATM machine. If I wanted a new car, new furniture, a weekend trip to Miami, no problem. Just max out the credit card or top up my loan. I was a big baller until I realized that 75% of my salary was going to pay back all those loans. Fidelity's personal financial coaching was the best solution. Fidelity gave me a plan with a debt consolidation loan that has a built-in savings that pays 5% interest. I now only have one low monthly payment plus money in my pocket. Give Fidelity Bank a call at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit any of Fidelity's locations or visit a website at fidelitygroup.com.
Hon, it's asking for your password.
Huh?
You were logged out. I need the password.
BR.
What's the rest?
BRANDI, the number 4, EVER?
Who's Brandy?
We're like the password that isn't your ex-girlfriend's name. CG Atlantic. Good like that.
I should have changed it.
You should have.
You're right.
We turn our attention now to the Daily Crime Report. A 57-year-old Bernard Road man, the focus of a police investigation after being found with over $400,000 in mixed currency. The accused was arrested around 11 a.m. Tuesday morning while police were patrolling the Cable Beach area. The officers searched a flatbed truck and found a large stash of cash. Officers later executed a search warrant on the driver's residence and found an additional amount of money in both Bahamian and U.S. currency. The $400,000 cash is believed to be from the proceeds of crime. Investigations continue. Well, a local Watts store, the target of armed bandits this morning after 4 masked gunmen entered Sun Isles Watches and Clock Repair Center and robbed the store of an estimated $8,000 to $12,000 in inventory and an undetermined amount of cash. In this video, which has made the rounds on social media, the culprits are seen robbing the store. Store owner D. Andrew Wallace says the incident occurred around 11:20 a.m. with several employees present. He says among the items stolen by thieves, 2 of whom had handguns, were watches and electronics. Wallace believes the bandits also canvassed the establishment ahead of making their move, as he says they avoided 2 cameras located on the exterior of the building. Well, do you have some burning legal questions that you need answered? Well, a free legal aid clinic, hosted by members of the Community Legal Aid Program, or CLAP, is just the place to make it happen. 15 volunteers of the program will be stationed at the E.P. Roberts Primary School this coming Saturday between the hours of 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. for its 3rd event this year. Director Nicole Sutherland King says the focus is to make legal aid services readily available to all Bahamians.
Coming out of the pandemic, when everything was shut down, we realized that we needed to pivot in the way that we provide legal advice and legal services to members of the community. One of the other issues that we recognize, or one of the needs in Bahamian society, is for greater access to legal aid. In distinction to some of our colleagues throughout the region, we really don't have formal and consistent legal aid that's available for persons who have civil legal matters or family matters. And so we recognize the need to try and kind of bridge the gap for members of the public.
Attorney Kevin Farrington reveals some of his findings during the last two events and hopes to see some new legal trends moving forward.
Surprisingly, most of the persons just need some directions. They don't necessarily need legal representation. They just need someone to tell them how to fill out a form, where to file a particular document in the magistrate's court, how to apply for child support, child maintenance, access to a child, or even small claims court. If they want to sue someone for $500, $1,000, they just need some direction on where to go, how to fill out the form, and how to have the summons and other documents serve on the individual.
It's a secret they hoped would remain buried. But truth is, it's become too much of a burden on unsuspecting families and morticians. Our Al-Taviz Munnings explains in this next report.
Grand Bahama Police confirmed to our news team Wednesday that Glenn Campbell of Freeport is being questioned in connection with the recent discovery of a partially decomposed body in East Grand Bahama. According to social media, the victim's family paid to have that body cremated.
First of all, he's been classified as a funeral director. He is not a funeral director. He is an imposter posing as a funeral director.
And that's where the public is being duped. Individuals purporting to be funeral directors without any academic training or professional certification. Yet, they're granted a license or permission to operate a mortuary service. It's an issue that has for years been plaguing the local mortuary industry.
These individuals are now offering to families funerals less than 10 to 40% less than what we're doing. Because one, they're not collecting VAT. Two, they're not paying taxes. And three, they don't have the overhead that a normal funeral home has. So it is likened unto a racket that's going on in funeral service. And anyone is coming in now, presenting falsified information and presenting themselves to the public. And the public, unfortunately, is biting it because it's a lower price.
A funeral director for the past 25 years, Bahamas Funeral Directors Association President Kirsch Ferguson believes solving this problem is simple. Government must regulate funeral services. For its part, the 30-member association submitted the required documentation to the government to push the proposed legislation.
The only recourse right now is take it before the courts. There's nothing the association can do because the government has not given us the teeth to give oversight to this. And we have no regulations in place to cause these things not to happen. So the courts are the only remedy right now. And unfortunately, the first court is social media. The normal psyche of the Bahamian public and persons in general is that funerals are expensive. The reality is funerals are expensive as you wish. It's a matter of choice. And we continue to say that to families. It's not so much our charges, it's what you want to have done.
For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Al-Taviz Munnings.
Well, on a lighter note, as part of his global sales mission to North Carolina, Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, Deputy Prime Minister the Honorable Chester Cooper met with the executives of Raleigh-Durham International Airport ahead of the inaugural launch of Bahamas Air's direct services from Raleigh to Freeport, Grand Bahama. Minister Cooper and his delegation also visited St. Augustine's University in Raleigh, where they met with Bahamian students as well as President Dr. Christine Johnson McPhail and her executives. Well, the islands of the Bahamas to once again be prominently displayed at the 63rd Annual Fort Lauderdale International Boat Show, which opened today. The event's recognized as the largest in-water boat show in the world, exhibiting a vast array of the industry's latest boats and yachts of all sizes, worldwide debuts, along with a medley of marine products and accessories to enhance the nautical lifestyle. The show draws thousands of boating enthusiasts from the U.S. and around the world. Attending for the Bahamas are Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, John Pinder, and Deputy Director Dr. Kenneth Romer, who are expected to meet with various manufacturers, influencers, members of the international media, investors, and leading boating industry partners. Well, now time for our weekly poll question, and here's how it works. Listen in for the question and then log on to our website. That's www.zednisbahamas.com, as well as any of our social media platforms to answer. That's all it takes. This week's question: do you believe protests affect change here in the Bahamas? Yes or no? The poll's final results will be aired on Friday, and as always, thanks for participating. You're watching The Bahamas Tonight. Stay with us.
You'll be all smiles after shopping the aisles at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. Ronzoni ready-cut macaroni, 16-ounce, $2.29. Rainbow mackerel, 15-ounce, $1.69. Cremoland Homo milk, 1 gallon, $6.99. Whole chicken wings, $1.99 per pound. Generic bleach, 1 gallon, $3.99. Donate your change to help feed the Humane Society animals at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
When you wanna save money on your tile supplies, who you gonna call? The Tile King. When you tile your house and you wanna look good, who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Visit the new Tile King showroom, which is internationally recognized as the finest tile showroom in the Caribbean, located in the Builders Mall on Wolf Road.
The Tile King. Who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Tiles on everything.
Tourism today. Bahamas tourism today.
It's safe to say Bahamas' inaugural Bahamas Culinary and Arts Festival was a success. The 3-day weekend event was full of food, art, and Bahamian culture.
Well, this weekend is absolutely amazing for us. We worked really hard to create Bahamas Culinary Arts Festival. You know, our goal is to build the best culinary destination in all of the Caribbean, right? Something that you want to plan out 6 months ahead, plan you coming, you want to be part of it. We have the best local chefs, right? Star Chef Simeon Halls. We have the best to offer, but we also have Chef Daniel Boulou, Iron Chef Ming Tsai, Kala Hall, Amanda Freitag, Margarita. Just, this is the place to be for culinary and arts, vibes, and also what? Moist man. We have everything to thank for Bahamian culture. We wouldn't be here without the beautiful Keelson Islands of Bahamas, right? And then the incredible people that paved the way. So for me, it's like learning from Chef Garrett, learning from Chef Simeon Halls, presenting them, putting them forward, and infusing what we know in terms of marketing, in terms of opportunities. This is a collaboration all the way.
You know, one of the things that I'm really, really excited about is they allowed me to authenticate and give input. And so literally all the meetings, all the preparations, etc., to a lot of our events, I was able to, you know, kind of get that Bahamian feel and make sure that our local food culture wasn't lost. And so I'm super, super appreciative of that and really glad that that's happening.
To read more about the Bahamas Culinary and Arts Festival, visit bahamart.com. I'm Joshua Robbins, and this is Tourism Today.
For hurricane season, we got impact windows and doors. For protection, just come to our store. Plus we got tiles to pretty up your walls and your floors. We'll help you brighten up for that big bad storm. Porcelain tiles, blank tiles, mosaic tiles, a variety of styles. Before teens get right, they gotta be rough. That's why we got the best deals in the whole Bahamas. Hey, hey.
We just got the new fiber internet speed bump. Now my internet so fast I can watch 2 4K movies, play video games, and browse on my computer at the same time.
Yeah, my internet so fast I could download a whole season of shows before my noodles run cooking.
Mine so fast when I go to church online, service actually over early.
Mine so fast when I'm working from home, 5 o'clock, come before 3.
Sound like you got this BTC fiber internet speed bump like me.
But it's so fast, I had to have it.
Current fiber internet bundle customers now have as much as 3 times the speed. Totally free. Link up with BTC.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies?
Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price. And you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you. At the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
Join up for life insurance. Secure the ones that you love. Join up with Family Guardian. We offer full protection. Join the family. Join the family. Family Guardian. Protect the ones you love. A friend that you can trust. Family Guardian.
Almost every journey starts with your car. We spend most of the early stages of our lives anticipating getting our first set of wheels. When that moment finally comes, let AID be there for all your auto needs. Make it yours by accessorizing, maintaining, and repairing your car with AID. Whether you're a professional mechanic, a recent graduate, a full-time mom, or an I can fix that kind of guy. Or if you're completely clueless about what your car needs, AID will assist in providing a large variety of auto parts, a diagnostic center, and great customer service. For all life's auto journeys, we're here. AID, all you really need and more.
Shell Unleaded improves your fuel economy, giving increased miles per gallon, allowing you to do more of what you really want. Special additives used in Shell Unleaded improve your engine's efficiency. So go further with Shell Unleaded. Venture out to beaches, Junkanoo, and festivals, and bring home memories that will last a lifetime. Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
Efforts underway to sensitize the public about Parkinson's disease, an incurable nervous system disorder that affects movement. Officials of the Kingdor National Parkinson now hoping to spread their message to the youth. A speech competition for junior and senior local students slated for November 20th at Fusion Superplex. Speech contest chairperson for the Kingdor National Parkinson Foundation is Charnel Cox Robinson.
Really, right now we have about 41 students who would have applied from various schools locally, private and public, a total of maybe 15 different schools. It's normally a very exciting competition. We do well with Toastmasters, the Bahamas' first branch of Toastmasters, to offer training to the students so that we get high quality speeches out of the competition. So it's normally very exciting. And the messages that they bring is often very inspirational as well as timely. Each division has a separate topic, but our focus with both topics, mental health, because we do realize that a lot of persons who are suffering from Parkinson's disease, there's a mental, a spiritual, and a social aspect to their journey with this. And so both topics have that aspect where we focus on health, we focus on the mental, the spiritual, and then, of course, living your best life.
Now, those interested can go to the Kingdor National Parkinson Foundation Facebook page to apply. $500 and a laptop among prizes up for grabs. President of Kingdor National Parkinson Foundation, Mavis Darling-Hill, stresses the event's importance.
And we got the idea of a speech competition because we felt that once we educate the younger persons about Parkinson's disease and they understand that there's nothing to be embarrassed about, then others would, well, their parents, their classmates, the teachers, they will all come together and understand and appreciate it better. And so that's what has happened for 7 years. This is going to be the 8th year.
4 community organizations on the receiving end of a generous donation facilitated by the Chinese Embassy here in the Bahamas. Officials of the Crisis Center, Children's Emergency Hostel, Sandilands Rehabilitation Center, and Straw Inc. on hand earlier today to receive a contribution of medical supplies, inclusive of first aid kits, blood pressure kits, and infrared thermometers. The generous initiative made possible after weeks of collaborating between the Chinese ambassador, the All-China China Women's Federation and spouse of the Prime Minister, Anne-Marie Davis.
I think this is the start of a new relationship with the China Women's Association. They wanted to donate some supplies to begin with, supplies, medical and sanitary supplies. As you see all the boxes here behind me. And so we are very thankful to Madam Ambassador, Her Excellency Dai Qingli, and the Women's Association, the Women's of China, for starting this goodwill relationship.
The Chinese ambassador also expressing her wishes for the strengthening of diplomatic relations between the two countries.
We believe the friendship between two countries is underpinned by the goodwill and friendship between our peoples. So this year is the 25th anniversary of China-Bahamas diplomatic relations. So we want to show that we genuinely care for the Bahamian people. And we certainly look forward to working with these NGOs and the charitable organizations again very soon to show more care and support to the Bahamian people.
An investment opportunity has led to the expansion of another Foot Care RX medical facility here in the country. With 2 locations already, the 3rd Foot Care RX office was officially opened at Deans Lane, Fort Charlotte today. Foot and Ankle International Clinic is the parent company of Foot Care RX. Chief Executive Officer of the facility, Dr. Danny Johnson, says he's elated he could bring health care to people.
This is quality, affordable access to the best care available in the world. That's what we bring into the Bahamas. Everyone else in the world been asking me, they clamoring us to do it somewhere else. I said, no, man. I think charity begins at home. But these centers will be all around, dotted all around the Bahamas, easy access, available, incredible results. We're already getting results. We've been up and running for a year. We walk in limping, we walk out pimping.
Dr. Johnson promises to be accountable and transparent to the investors.
This is public funds. People are sending us $50 and $100, and they do it every week, and they really believe in it. And we're going to try and show them the results. And in 3 years, you will hear more about this company because we will start paying dividends to the patients who use their clinic. So you'll own where you work, you'll own where you go, you'll own something in your community that you use that actually rewards you.
Well, as we head to the break, we'd like to thank all our viewers watching us live on our social media platforms. And just in case you missed the news, be sure to head there to catch up. Stay with us. There is more after the break.
We just got the new fiber internet speed bump. Now my internet so fast I can watch 2 4K movies, play video games, and browse on my computer at the same time.
Yeah, my internet so fast I could download a whole season of shows before my noodles run cooking.
Mine so fast when I go to church online, service actually over early.
Mine so fast when I'm working from home, 5 o'clock, come before 3.
Sound like you got this BTC fiber internet speed bump like me.
But it's so fast, I had to have it.
Current fiber internet bundle customers now have as much as 3 times the speed. Totally free. Link up with BTC.
Samantha's always on point. She doesn't miss a thing. When she signs up for any insurance policy, she reads all the fine print. She knows what's covered, what's not covered, and she's aware of her deductibles. When it comes to insurance, it pays to know your policy. Review every insurance policy so you know what you're covered for. This message was brought to you by the Insurance Commission of the Bahamas.
NBA League Pass is the coolest way to watch the hottest game there is. When threes rain down and superstars heat up. When clutch jumpers splash and your team is fire. You'll be there for up to 40 games a week. Any way you want to watch. NBA League Pass. Order now.
young artists given an opportunity to showcase their talent thanks to Sandals Emerald Bay's first ever art show and competition. The 35 artists, primary and senior high students, displayed 51 pieces of colorful art that captivated viewers. The inaugural event, the brainchild of well-known local artist and teacher Eddie Nixon. All students received certificates of participation, and the top 3 artists across 9 categories were further awarded gift certificates and medals. Well, the government's Park Connect initiative in conjunction with BTC continues in the Family Islands. The goal to provide free Wi-Fi connectivity to at least one park in every constituency nationwide. The latest island park to be powered up, Matthew Town, Inagua, giving residents there free internet access. Since the official launch of the initiative on August 13th, BTC and other stakeholders have connected parks on Andros, Eleuthera, Exuma, Bimini, Long Island, Inagua, and New Providence. The two-phase initiative is expected to be completed by year's end. Well, it's time now for a check on Family Island weather with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Patricia. We're under cloudy skies this evening. Temperature at 82 degrees. Relative humidity 71%. We have southerly winds at 6 miles per hour. The barometric pressure 1,011.9 millibars. That's 29.88 inches. And the pressure is steady. Temperatures around the Family Islands this evening. They are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 81 degrees in Freeport, Grand Bahama, Green Torquay, and Marsh Harbor, Abaco. The Berry Islands, 84. Allenstown, Bimini, 83 degrees. 84 in Harbor Island. Rock Sound, Eleuthera, 83. 81 in Black Point, Exuma, and Kemp Space at Andros. Fresh Creek, Central Andros at 80 degrees. 81 in Allenstown, Cadalum, San Salvador, and Rum Key. Georgetown, Exuma, 84 degrees. 82s in Ragged Island, Clarence, Long Island, and Cooked Island. Betsy Bay, McGuana, 81. Acklands, 81. Matchetown, Inagua, 83. And the Turks and Caicos Islands also at 83 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Paint Center. For all areas tonight, northeast winds, they're going to be 10 knots or less. Wave heights 1 to 3 feet over the ocean, but there will be some light swells coming out of the northeast. High tide takes place at 9:13 this evening. Another high tide at 9:41 tomorrow morning. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. That's going to do it for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned, your extended weather forecast is still ahead.
I've been blown away. Totally love the vibe to really be able to lead this process. I feel a great sense of gratitude around being able to have Shelly to be here with us.
This event was one that you had to be here.
You know, any time that I am able to spend time with especially young women who have aspirations and things they want to achieve, it is just always wonderful. So this has been a terrific experience today.
Our future is here. And no matter the result, we must come together. Together, we will innovate. Together, we will lead the way. Our future belongs to us. Happy Election Day, my fellow Bahamians. Leading the Bahamas in home improvement since 1973.
Being the CFO at this young age, it really is very fulfilling to me, and it really shows that the hard work, the hours that I put in my career, they really paid off. Having such young persons in such a key role really shows that the board of directors have a lot of trust in the leadership of the young people. Being committed to excellence means that you put all of your effort into whatever it is you're doing to get the best benefit out of that task or anything you're doing in life.
Have you been denied a U.S. visa and don't understand why?
Have you been turned away from the U.S. border without an explanation? Maybe you've had a prior arrest or conviction and you're not clear on how to move forward at this point. Call our office. We may be able to help. 954-449-1833.
The Sports Report is brought to you by Hoop Fest in Paradise, December 16th to the 17th at the Kendall G. Lysick Gym. The best in U.S. and Bahamian high school basketball.
It's time for sports on a Wednesday evening. Good evening, everybody. I'm Charles Fisher. The fans came out to show their support at a jam-packed Bankers Field for the decisive Game 5 of the New Providence Softball Association Men's Championship between the Cybertech Blue Marlins and the CNS Hitman. And they were definitely in for a treat, especially from the pitchers on the mound, with Blue Marlins' crafty arm of Thomas Davis squaring off against the veteran Edney the Heat Bethel. And the batters from both teams were finding it difficult to connect. Blue Marlins, however, looking to be in the driver's seat, bring 2 runs across the plate to go up 2-0, heading into the bottom of the 6th. In the bottom half, the Hitmen start to find their groove, along with some questionable calls and errors from the Marlins. They go up 5-2, and that's all they would need as the veteran Heat hooks the Marlins, and the Hitmen take the series 3-2. Let the celebration begin.
Tonight was the Denley, but they lead us all through the game. We never give up. In and after inning, we fight, and coming to the end, be really ready to take the victory. Well, they had us locked down for a while, you know. Thomas pitched some great innings to start the game off, and they really had us locked in, but after a while, everything break loose, and we start to get some hits and score some runs. So I just thank God for the victory tonight, for bringing us out on top. This one is very special. Fisher, at age 58, and can come out and still show the Bahamas that I can win a national championship. I just thank God. I love it. I love it.
Head coach Darren Stevens not giving up despite down 2-0 in the 6th.
What we do is show effort and character today. We was down two runs in the 6th. We fought back, we were able to muster one and put it away with a 3-4 run in the 6th. I can't say enough about these guys, the amount of weight we put in. And they staying tough on the mind, just getting a chance, keep us in the game to be able to score runs. Hats off goes to the Marlins, man. They played a hell of a series. Thomas was lights out. He was very stingy, but we was able to muster it when it come. If you watch the game, I move myself on my first-base coaching. I wanted that personal one-on-one at them, a personal one-on-one with them before they reach to the plate. Let's try and see if I could get them a little more focus. And fortunately, the guys was able to put some tough bats together, and we came out victorious.
A pretty good series by both teams could have gone any way for the Marlins and coach Perry Seymour.
You know, we had it, and you know, I don't cry, but losing, even with that play, we made a mistake. You know, it would score 2 more runs with the game much more closer. The fellas can play a hell of a game. Mike Tommy pitched a hell of a game. You know what I mean? Edney pitched a good game. You like games like that, but you don't want it in with an umpire decision. What was a bad one.
Now the Bahamas Softball Federation has decided to scrap the round robin nationals this year and go with an inter-island all-star classic due to most of the islands not having a league after COVID. However, NPSA President Dwayne Stevens and his executives have made the decision on who will represent New Providence.
We're going to send the champions from both divisions to represent the New Providence. We would have been into some discussions within our executive to discuss exactly what we will do in terms of sending representation. You would have about 2 weeks, because I think the All-Stars about the 11th through the 13th, and it'll be insufficient time to come up and put an all-star team together that we believe would give us the best representation. So we like a team that has cohesion to participate, and the ladies and the men champions will represent New Providence.
He summed up the season this way.
It was a very difficult year. We had many challenges, but you know, You could see by the amount of persons in the park tonight that softball is indeed back. And, you know, that was our goal, to revive and to restore and to rebuild our sport.
Good job. The University of Bahamas women's volleyball team dropped both matches against Atlantis University over the weekend in South Florida. The team lost their first match last Friday, 25-10, 5-7. The second game, they performed much better, but still lost in straight sets, 25-13, 21-10. This weekend's tour was the team's first set of games in more than 3 years. Many on the team are true freshmen as well. Head coach Raymond Rhymes Wilson said he saw the significant improvement of the team over the 2 games.
They hustled much better than the previous game. They showed much more of their potential and their ability to play this game at a higher level. So I give them about a little above average on their productivity, and I can see only better things ahead for them. This is now the practical side of things, and I'll give them slightly above average. I'll give them probably a 65-70, okay, because there's much more for them to learn. And it isn't just about learning the basics, but it's how to cut down on errors. Okay, we lose a lot of points on errors. And so once we can clean it up and we can make less errors, then they will be between the 80-90%. No team will ever be 100%.
Good showing, however, by the UB Mingos. And that's going to do it for Sports Wednesday. I'm Charles Fisher. Thanks for watching.
The Sports Report was brought to you by Hoop Fest in Paradise, December 16th to the 17th at the Kendall Geologics Gymnasium, the best in U.S. and Bahamian high school basketball.
We just got the new fiber internet speed bump. Now my internet's so fast I can watch 2 4K movies, play video games, and browse on my computer at the same time.
Yeah, my internet's so fast I could download a whole season of shows before my noodles run cooking.
Mine's so fast when I go to church online, service actually over early.
Mine's so fast when I'm working from home, 5 o'clock, come before 3.
Sound like you got this BTC fiber internet speed bump like me.
But it's so fast, I had to have it.
Current fiber internet bundle customers now have as much as 3 times the speed. Totally free. Link up with BTC.
You'll be all smiles after shopping the aisles at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. Ronzoni ready-cut macaroni, 16-ounce, $2.29. Rainbow mackerel, 15-ounce, $1.69. Cream-O-Land Homo milk, 1 gallon, $6.99. Whole chicken wings, $1.99 per pound. Generic bleach, 1 gallon, $3.99. Donate your change to help feed the Humane Society animals at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
Time now for weather.
All right, our final look at weather. That trophy that lie across the southeast Bahamas for several days is now pushed off towards the east. High pressure is now firmly in control, but we do have some low-level clouds that's floating in from the north towards the south. Our forecast for tonight, we're going in for clear to partly cloudy conditions. 73 degrees for your low temperature, and tomorrow it's going to be a mixed bag of clouds and sunshine. High temperature just around 84 degrees, and extended weather forecast. Beautiful weather, by the way, over the next several days. We have a weak front system that will be pushing through on Saturday, and that could trigger a brief shower during the late morning and early afternoon hours on Saturday. Thereafter, things are going to clear up once again. Temperature-wise, we're going to keep you in the mid-80s heading into the weekend. Once that frontal system goes through, you'll see temperatures dropping back to about 83 degrees on Sunday, and those nighttime temperatures falling back into the low 70s. Makishla.
Well, thanks, Basil. And that does it for the Bahamas tonight. Thank you for continuing to make ZNS your first choice for news and information. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. From all of us here at ZNS, thank you for watching and good night.
Lighthouse on San Salvador to let you know that marine protected areas make dollars and cents. A well-designed and managed network of protected areas can generate income for nearby communities. From MPA managers to lodges to eco-tours, there is money to be made.
healthy marine ecosystems help to protect our islands from climate change and other impacts that we cannot control. Healthy coral reefs help to break down fake waves, and mangroves absorb storm surge and help to protect our coastline.
Older and larger fish tend to carry more and healthier eggs than younger fish. Fish replenishment areas will allow fish to grow bigger and ensure that we have more fish now and in the future.
In a replenishment area, fish are free to grow and reproduce. As their populations increase, more fish will spill over into other areas where fishermen can increase their catch and their income.
I support the establishment of a marine protected area on my island.
I support the establishment of marine protected areas on my island. I support the establishment of marine protected areas on my island.
I support the establishment of a marine protected area on my island, and you should too.
And you should too.
And you should too. And you should too. See the future with Bahamas Protected.
Diabetic eye disease is caused by changes in the blood vessels of your retina. This disease is the most common cause of vision loss among patients with diabetes and is the leading cause of blindness and visual impairment in working-age adults. Symptoms of diabetic eye disease can include floaters in your vision, blurred vision, fluctuating vision, impaired color vision, or generalized loss of vision. Smoking can quadruple your risk of progression of this disease. Bottom line is, smoking will cause you to go blind faster with diabetes. So quit smoking. Also, for expectant mothers who are diabetic, it is very important that you have your eyes examined during pregnancy, as rapid changes can occur in your eyes during pregnancy. And remember, good eye health is a combined effort between your eye care team, your medical doctors, and you, the patient.
This public service announcement is brought to you by the Public Hospitals Authority in conjunction with the Medical Association of the Bahamas and the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
We are here in the time of need. There's no discrimination. The mission is to relieve the suffering. We volunteer, we deliver care. With donors and partners, we're always here to turn compassion into action. Protecting life and health with our training throughout the years. We empower to heal the world. There is hope, assistance with disasters. There is shelter and love for our people. We can work together to help those in need. So volunteer with us and donate to show you care. There is hope, assistance with disasters. Shelter and love for our people. We can work together to help those in need. So volunteer with us and donate to show you care. Together, let's build a more resilient Bahamas. Community farming for food security. Climate programs suited for our island country. Together, let's build a more resilient Bahamas.
This message brought to you by the Bahamas Red Cross Society in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas. You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.